Good afternoon. Welcome to the cruise, amigos. Coming to you live from Bedford County, Virginia this week. Amigo John up in Crookston, Minnesota is not going to be with us today. He's a bit under the weather, having some medical issues. So I said, you work on getting yourself better and don't worry about Cruise Amigos. And I have not heard anything from Amigo Martin as of yet. He's allowed to pop in anytime now. You know him. He's, could be busy. Let's see. I don't know if he sent me a message or not. Let me go check that real quick. Let's see. Amigo Martin. No, he did not send me a message. So I would only assume that he's going to be here eventually. Hey, Kenneth, good to have you with us again. There's Hot Air Tom. He's hoping that Amigo Martin will be back as well with the information on the drinks package and over there in Europe. So, but Hot Air so far, we haven't seen him. There's Katie. She's driving today. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. Good to see you again, of course. So I don't really have anything much planned for today. I was hoping that that Martin would be here. Hi, Em. Hello again. So I really, of course, since the audience is different, we could go over pretty much everything you guys heard already today. Kind of talking about our epic cruise, March 31st, 2025. Are you doing the second cruise also? I have cruise number one paid for already, except for balance Chillie will cover, working on the second. Of course, everybody's speaking back and forth again. But at any rate, folks, yeah, so for those of you in the Cruise Amigo audience that don't necessarily watch me all the time, I've had to cancel out my next cruise, which I would actually be leaving the 22nd. So that's in 4 days. Monday, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I was going to sail out of Bayonne on Liberty of the Seas. And due to several issues, one, I have an issue with Royal Caribbean right now, but I probably wouldn't have canceled out if that was the only thing. But I do have some personal matters to take care of that fall into that period that I'm going to be gone. One of which is going to a family memorial service. And it's someone in my generation, so I pretty much need to be in attendance for that. And there are several other issues that I'm dealing with as well. So I just made the decision to cancel out. It's going to end up costing me, I think it's $109 or something to cancel. I'm not concerned about that as much as I am, would be more concerned if I had gone, not getting done what needs to get done on this end with family responsibilities and so forth. So I've canceled out on that one. Currently, I don't have anything booked for the summer months. And that's partially for, there's a couple reasons for that. One is, I've got a big expensive cruise with Hot Air Tom coming up in 2025. Then I need to get those two paid off as well. So my money's going to be going toward that rather than other cruises right now. And then I have, two biggies coming up in August and August to September, two Alaska cruises. One I had to pay for, of course. That's the Nordam, which is going north. And then I'll be hosting the group cruise on the Sapphire Princess coming south. And hopefully Amigo John will be back all well and everything, so he can go on that cruise, as well as Bonnie is going on that one also. Chillie used this summer cruise money for a cool new power wheelchair. Well, yeah, that too. I got the new chair, which was $3,000. But I'm so thrilled that I did that. So yeah, and that's part of me having to cut back again. I'm not like some of my competitors that make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month from YouTube. My biggest month from YouTube to date has been $284. So that doesn't even pay my computer expenses, much less take me on any cruises. I did talk to my Scootaround guy yesterday. They're going to just shift the reservation over to the Sapphire Princess. So now I got both of those cruises covered with the scooters. And of course, I'll be using the chair for excursions and hotels and running around Anchorage for 3 days and getting on and off the train that we will be doing. So I'm really looking forward to the summer ending up with Alaska this year. I was in Alaska early in the season last year and froze to death. Hot Air Tom says he's hungry for a funnel cake. Too bad, Hot Air Tom. I can't do that anymore, my friend. Emily says funnel cakes are a group fare every year, as the dough with cinnamon and powdered sugar and honey. Not until near September, a long time to go. Yeah, but unfortunately, I can't do that anymore. With the oxygen, can't be around a fryer. So those of you that don't know this, that was the final straw in closing up my business. So as a matter of fact, one of my competitors took the trailer off my hands. So I didn't have to look at it and feel sorry for myself. But at any rate, I can't do that anymore because oxygen does not allow you to be around open flame, and there's open flame on fryers. So that forced me into retirement, but I was old enough to retire anyway. But yeah, funnel cake business was a good business for, a lot of years. I did NASCAR races, not all the tracks, of course. My biggest year, I think I did 19 races. I was Washington Nationals baseball for 8 years. Liberty football, that's the only thing I ever made any money at in Lynchburg, where I live. Liberty football, I was a 23-year veteran when I finally had to give it up and give up my spot in the new stadium. So, yeah, it was good business. I enjoyed it. I didn't do fairs. The first time I did a fair, I never will forget, it was down in Alta Vista, Virginia, Uncle Billy's Day. And I can't remember now, it's been so long ago, but I had to send a horrendous deposit in. I'm thinking like back in those days, it was $1,800 or something. And it was 6 months in advance. And that for me was a lot of money, but I scraped it together and sent the deposit. And then I pulled into Uncle Billy's Day to set up and found 8 other funnel cake vendors and 12 people that did fresh squeezed lemonade. So I never did make enough to get my $1,800 back from the deposit. So I only did one other fair after that. And the rest of the time I did sporting events where I had no competition until finally the last year or so that I did NASCAR races. There was another company moving in on the territory, which was okay because I was ready to give it up. I mean, I made terrific money, but it was expensive. It was nothing for me to have a staff of 17 on the road for races. We worked there for 3 days and usually had a day traveling each way. So there was 5 days I was covering expenses for 17 people. So quit doing that. Baseball games wasn't so bad because I had people in the area that worked for me. So I didn't have to worry about expenses. Just had to worry about paying them. So anyway, the health issues took care of the business, and now I'm left to cruise, which I happen to like that. It would be nice if my channel gets, over 10,000 or something. I start making enough money to pay for a cruise, even pay for a cheap cruise. That would be wonderful. So. And I told Pete and his folks over there in Europe that by next year, if they want to do a hosted cruise a month, I'll be happy to host it for them. Just saying. I would love to do that. So, but we'll see how that works out. All right, hosted cruise coming up December the 2nd. For those of you that don't know, it's on the Norwegian Escape. I will be hosting it. It's a solo cruise. I don't know I think if it's double occupancy, you have to go with the prevailing rate, which is extraordinarily high right now. But at any rate, for solos, they're pretty good deals. Cruise sails from Port Canaveral on December 2nd. It has stops at Great Stirrup Cay, which of course is Norwegian's private island. It goes to Ocho Rios in Jamaica. It goes to Grand Cayman, the Cayman Islands, and it goes to Cozumel in Mexico. I know people got all bent out of shape yesterday about the story that I had on my show, and the other shows after me also had it, Don and Tony. about the warnings, State Department warnings for Jamaica and Colombia. These were not new warnings, folks. These warnings have been up for months. So there is nothing new today that wasn't yesterday or the day before. The warnings for Jamaica are, yes, there is some crime in Jamaica, but the warnings are primarily because they have terrible hospital services and emergency services. The warnings for Colombia are specifically for the areas along the border between Venezuela and Colombia that are big cartel areas. Places like Bogota and Cartagena are not near as bad. But everybody get bent out of shape like this is something new. Oh my God, it's level 3. It's been level 3 for maybe a year now. They just rewrote the things and republished them. It was just a change in writing and phraseology. The substance didn't change at all, and they didn't raise the level. So, I mean, I've been to Jamaica 3 times since it was at level 3. And clearly, I was all over Cartagena last time with the excursions and had no trouble in either place, any of the times. Been to Cartagena twice. Now, yeah, there's other countries. Nicaragua, I know Kenneth has found out his Panama cruise. They've cut out Nicaragua. A lot of the cruise lines have been cutting out Nicaragua for about 6 months now because of unrest, and they don't feel it's safe to go in there. And I might have said that wrong this morning, Kenneth, by the way. The Zandam cruise clearly had canceled Nicaragua. And I don't remember if Joy was scheduled to Nicaragua or not. I didn't look that up. But Zandam definitely was and definitely canceled that out, the month before. So, but anyway, everybody gets all bent out of shape from that story. That's why it was the last story on my show. It wasn't anything major. It was just a reiteration of what they'd already done. So I get a little frustrated sometimes when other people in this space make a big to-do out of things that they didn't need to make a big to-do about. Emily says, Kenneth enjoy Europe. Oh, he's going to enjoy Europe. He's going to be with me in Hot Air Tom. Of course he's going to enjoy it. We'll keep him laughing the whole damn time, I promise you. Emily's been to Paris a couple times, and my aunt and uncle and cousin have been living in Rome for quite some time. They love it. All right, Nikki just booked the transatlantic March 2024, using up some credits from canceled cruises. Awesome, Nikki. Boy, it'll be good to see you back at sea. That's just terrific. All right, you got to tell us who you're booked on, Nick, in case some of us might want to join you. I don't know. I gotta see what my schedule is going to be on these hosted cruises. But anyway, which transatlantic are you doing, Nick? But I'm just tickled pink that Nikki and Roger are going to be back on the high seas again. Hot Air Tom's on April 8th. Escape transatlantic to Rome. March. Let's see who's going transatlantic in March. I can look that up pretty quick. Cruise lines. Norwegian. Oh, I don't know if it's Norwegian though, do I? Oh no, that's not going to work. Never mind. Never mind. All right, she'll let us know when she figures it up. Because I know she's got some credits from a bunch of people, so it may or may not be Norwegian. I will check and see if there's any. Was the agent that spoke with the guest? Karina, okay. We have been advised that cruise next deposit should be applicable for the cruise. However, we always advise our guests we need to confirm with the cruise line because sometimes they are expired or have been used. Oh, these were brand new ones. Okay. All right. So that's good news for the folks that booked on December 2nd. The cruise next deposits are good for the December 2nd cruise. A bunch of people did that, wanting to use that free money to pay for part of this next cruise. Don't blame them. There's his Viking Star from Fort Lauderdale to Barcelona. Oh, a Viking ship too. Oh my God. Nikki, we need lots of pictures. We need lots of clips. We need to be a real pain in the ass while you're on a cruise. Excuse me. I've done like 6 shows in the last 3 days. Then my voice is definitely wearing out. And it's not like the last time, folks, when I got sick. I'm not sick at all. Now that yesterday was open. Those of you that are in the audience that were not on my show this morning, I had a Lupron shot at the oncologist yesterday. And apparently when you take Lupron, which I take every 6 months now, every 4th shot is a double dose and they give it to you in the butt. I hate that immensely. So the nurse is getting it all put together and the needle filled up and whatever, rolling it around in her hands to, I don't warm it up or whatever the hell they do, and load up the needle. And of course, I have to stand up out of my wheelchair. And she says, okay, it's time for you to stand up and drop them. Bend over and grab the counter and grip because you're going to need it. And I did. And I needed it. I called the poor nurse several awful, awful things. And proud of it. Yeah, it was a pretty rough one. A rough shot that lasted until, man, when I got up this morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I was still hurting. Chillie will be the butt of everyone's jokes. Absolutely, Steve. Bring it on. Don't mind at all. I'll be your onboard correspondent. That's awesome, Nick. We're going to certainly use that up because so many of us will be so excited that you're on a cruise. It'll be like we're on that cruise with you. That's just, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Okay, back to what I see. I got sidetracked. The December 2nd is the Escape. It's out of Port Canaveral. And we've got a good group of people already booked. So I'd like to have, man, I'd love to have 30 to 40 cabins booked on this one before it's over with. I mean, we're probably, I haven't gotten the numbers for today, but probably 11 or 12 already. So, and I'll probably start doing lives on that on a regular basis just to talk about it and broadcast them on the Passion for Cruises USA solo channel. So that's a good possibility. You know what? Justin and I did Friday evenings. We did Friday evenings for several shows before the Joy. Maybe I'll just do Friday evening and just do like a weekly live stream, just to welcome everybody that's new, to talk about, you know, everything, the packages, any questions. Like the question I have to send Fran, I don't know if Fran's in the audience here today. I think she might have been on the show this morning, but now that I know, because I sent him a message yesterday that the Norwegian had told us that the cruise next deposits would be good for this cruise. And then one of their agents questioned it and said she'd have to check with Norwegian. Well, so I sent a message through to him, and the message that came back from my girls said, okay, we've told our people that when somebody says that, they don't know when that deposit was made. They have to check with Norwegian to make sure it's not expired or any of those things. Now they're good for 4 years, so I don't know why they're doing that. So anyway, they're good. The ones that put the deposits down on the Joy, it's good. Yeah, got the official word. So that's that one. Let's see. Still have some openings on Alaska. That is on the Sapphire Princess from Anchorage to Vancouver. I'm going to be 10 days before the cruise. I'm going to be sailing up to Anchorage on the Noordam from Holland America. Then I get into Anchorage, and the next day John gets into Anchorage, and he and I are going to spend a couple days touring Anchorage, which is supposed to be very accessible area. I've not been there, so I can't say that absolutely, but my understanding is it's very accessible. Things like the museums and things like that we can go to, and it's small enough that I can roll around really easily. And then we are going to take the short train up to Whittier. I think it's up to Whittier, down to Whittier, over to Whittier, whichever way from Anchorage to Whittier, which is where the boat sails from, and get back on the boat, on the different boat, on the Sapphire Princess, and come back down to Vancouver. That way, I'm going to do 2 Alaska cruises and only 1 flight across the country. But, you know, I hate flying. I don't hate flying. I'm just uncomfortable on planes. Although I tell you what, the last plane I was on from American, which I forget the number now, it was a Republic plane or something. It was a different plane than I flew up before, where it was 3-3. This one was 3-2. But the room between the seats was, oh man, it was a bunch better. So I was much more comfortable on that flight than I was on the bigger plane that flew from Richmond direct to where was I going? To Miami. And then Miami to New York. I went to LaGuardia. That was a bigger plane. So I was equally as uncomfortable. But then the smaller plane had a ton more room on the flight from LaGuardia to Richmond. So got to look for those smaller planes. But anyway, we still got some cabins available on that, although that's getting up pretty close now to, let's see, June, July, August. May, June, July, August. Yeah, so, man, that's probably about 10 days. But I probably, that the final payment stuff's going to be due, I would imagine, on the 28th, which is 90 days out. I'm not sure on that. That goes through Nate. But I know up till now it's still available. We just booked a new person yesterday. So yeah, if you want to join us in Alaska, come on. We've got some folks ready for that. All right. If somebody's trying to message me, who would be trying to message me? Oh, that's Martin. Sorry, I'm stuck on calls this evening as the only one working. It's too busy for me to log off. So sorry. Okay. So no, Martin. I'm not really surprised at that one. However, guys, there's no sense in, I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Unless you've got some major questions and or suggestions or something, I'll sign off on this puppy and rest my voice. We've done over a half hour. That's not bad for one person just sitting here treading water and talking. So at any rate, a lot of things happening. And I've told the Pete and his crew, let's shoot for one a month. I'd be more than happy to do one a month for those guys. Wherever in the world they want me to go to host a cruise, I'll do it. So I really thoroughly, totally enjoyed the Norwegian Joy and the people that were on it. And of course, being able to do excursions. That all it just adds up. That's the best cruise I believe I've ever taken. And it was a summation of everything. So I'll be willing to do that, to duplicate that time and time and time and time and time again. So anyway, think about December 2nd. Think about August 28th. And I'm going to call it quits. That's going to wrap me up for another week of the Cruise Amigos. And I will see everybody next Thursday on the Cruise Amigos. Maybe I'll have some amigos back with me. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe by next week the pool will be open. Oh, that would be nice. At any rate, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'll see everybody next Thursday or on my show tomorrow morning. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. See you next time, folks.